voice, not the ocean breeze. Island youth, them rising with the key. Roots and horizons calling we. Education set the people free. Raizal youth, come and learn in our delight. Open up your mind, let your future shine bright. Raizal folks, from the sea to the sun. Roots and horizons, every daughter, every son. We want the people come reason with we, reason with we, reason with we. Lift up this knowledge as you reason with we in a this irie. Classroom under palm tree, but the lesson so strong. History of the islands, how we fight and stay long. Raizal stories, Raizal tongue, Raizal song. Teach the children how them spirits stay strong. Whoa, lady oh, lady oh, lady oh. Raizal youth, come and grow, stand tall. Voice of the nation, echo through the hall. Raizal votes, every mind get a shine. Roots and horizons, education design. We want the people come study with we, study with we, study with we. Lift up this knowledge as you come test we in a this irie.
Good evening, and welcome to everyone once more. Welcome everyone watching us on YouTube and on Facebook. Welcome once more to Roots and Horizons, Raizal Education. Before we continue this important topic today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge something very important that happened in our community today. Today, we are mourning the loss of a cousin, one of my cousins, Robert Britton. He's a musician. He was a musician and a journalist from Old Providence, from the section of Mountain. Today he passed away, and his life touched many people through his work, through his voice, and his presence as well. So I want to send condolences to all the family, to all the Britton family in Providence Island, to Elida, to Lucina, to Angela Lucia, his siblings, his children, and his wife. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you during this difficult time, and may his memory remain alive in all who knew him and loved him. And Robert Britton, may he rest in peace. So let's begin today with a word of prayer to start this important program. I want to invite you all to bow your heads and close your eyes for us to pray. Let's pray. Our most kind and merciful Father, which art in heaven, to thee be the glory and the honor for all what you have done. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings. Thank you for the opportunity to be here once more on this program. Thank you for the privilege that we have to speak our voice and to listen to people that are concerned with us, with things happening in our, among our Raizal people. Please help us during this program that everything we say and we do may be blessed by thee. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. In today's program, we will continue talking about why ethno-education matters and why it is important to keep speaking about the Decree 1278 of 2002 in Colombia, and how this connects with the Raizal people. This is a conversation about identity, about culture, and about our future. Very important topic that we have been talking about. Today is the third chapter, and we will have some educational actors and speaking about islands reality. And I would like us to welcome Mr. Jairo Rodriguez, who will give us the introduction of this topic or the continuation of chapter number 3. Welcome, Jairo.
Hi. Hi, Siegfried. I extend my sympathy. Robert is a person I really estimate a lot, appreciate a lot. Very friendly, lovely man, with an energy and a strong spirit. He take me on surprise, the news. Condolence to you and entire family.
Thank you.
Yes, tonight we continue this third chapter of this program for Ruth and her son's education or study education. And as Siegfried said, we continue to look forward to the approval and implementation of that decree or bill of law that is in the Congress for the ethno-educators, Raizal, Palenqueros, and Black community people. We are taking step ahead, assuming, that will become a reality. It's far advanced, and we think we have to prepare. We have to be talking about this, making preparation. There's plenty of work to be done. It's a great opportunity for us to have this education and go back to our roots. Those type of teachers, knowledge keepers, you call it, right? That we
Correct.
have and that play such an important role in our life, in the cultural identity of our people, and the conservation and perpetuation of us, like a people passing that knowledge from generation to generation. This is the opportunity, and we celebrate that. We want to tonight in this program. We have two guests that have relation with the or our schools. They had some at some moment. Maybe right now they are not working at the schools in the archipelago, but they deal and they work with it, and they carry some knowledge and some experience, as Dr. Siegfried said, things that should not remain in the silence. Silence don't permit us to really advance. So this program is made for that, to exteriorize and for us to deal with the reality of our life and the reality of our school, the reality and the daily reality of our children, the student them there. That sometimes we stay back home and we don't know what they pass through. We only ship them off and receive them back. But years pass, years going, and we don't know really how things are, developing up really at the school. So we are talking about the rights of our children and the rights of us of our people, linguistic right, the right to have our own system of education. And sometimes we fall careless to see if we are really receive what we have right for. This bill of law that is here in the Congress is to restore and to repair decades of violation of our rights, decades of violation. So we want to share with our guests um, what is their experience at school and how they see things that our kid pass through, things that are damage, to them somehow, and that we need to take in account and work on correcting. Ryan have a brief video for two guests, and we'll just please ask him to just go ahead and pass it.
Willard Pomer is an experienced educator with over 30 years of teaching in bilingual and multicultural settings, specializing in English and Spanish language education. He currently serves as a bilingual reading teacher in the Dallas Independent School District, where he has also mentored teachers and contributed to leadership teams. In addition to his work in education, he is actively involved in pastoral ministry, with a strong background in literacy, language, and cultural sensitivity. He joins us today to share his experience and perspective on education and community development. Alicia Elmira Mitchell-Hunter is a licensed psychopedagogue and specialist in sexual education and affective processes. With over 25 years of experience in education, human rights, and community work. She has worked with the Defensoría del Pueblo in the government of San Andres, leading programs focused on Raizal families, community participation, and social well-being. With a strong commitment to culturally relevant education and community development, she joins us today to share her experience and insights.
Great, Dr. Siegfried. I know you're acquainted with Brother Willard already, who we call Lati.
Latinos.
Lati, you know, very nice person. And Sister Alicia Mitchell is working actually with the Ombudsman Office,
Okay.
Defensoría del Pueblo, no? But
That's
she
good.
an experience dealing with schools already. So I left you to lead this interview. The idea is for them to share things that, you know, I said they saw at the schools and that somehow connect with the decree that coming out soon, that the Congress, you know, their own ethno-educators.
Why is it important to speak about this decree? We have been talking about this for weeks, and this is the third chapter. Why is it important to talk about this decree and how it affects us? Because when we're speaking about education and ethno-education, we're talking about our identity and how identity is important, not just for education alone, but for culture, right? The preservance of culture, to preserve the culture. And for the Raizal people, this is a very important topic because education should help protect identity and keep it strong across generations. We can see that our culture is erosioning little by little. And we know that this is part of overpopulation, one of the causes of overpopulation, apart from crime and violence that we spoke about for many times, or on many times or occasions. One of the biggest problems that we're having as well is cultural erosion. So the cultural erosion happens because of overpopulation, the imposition of so many cultures that come in from different places. And we see how our education system as well was imposed with the Spanish and with Colombian education or curriculum. So today we have with us Miss Alicia, and we'd like her to join us. Welcome, Miss Alicia.
Good night, good evening, good afternoon. How are you?
Good evening. How is it going?
I'm fine. Thank you. I'm right here. So happy to be here to share my
That's good.
experience.
Ryan, maybe
to
you could put her a little
improve.
bigger. You could put her camera a little bigger, Ryan, if it's possible. I don't know. Let's see if Ryan can put you a little bigger because it's small and we can hardly barely see you. So I would like to ask you then, Miss Alicia, then what exactly do you do? Tell us a little bit of your context of what exactly you're doing in this moment.
In this moment, I work with the contractors at the Ombudsperson office. I work with the community. I deal directly with human rights and the population and human mobility. That's what we do right now. We emphasize in what we have migrants, in the population that is affected by the erosion, cause erosion, o la afectación climática,
Very good.
families that
I
be
think
affected.
yes, Ryan excuse
Plus,
me. I'm sorry.
yes,
Ryan, I think there is perfect. So yeah, and you can hear us both, right, Ryan? Okay. All right. Go ahead, please.
plus at the ombudsperson office, I'm the person committed to attend all the people that is passing through the island, what we call in mobility. So as I said, we have the migrants and we have the population that is affected by the conflict with arm of Colombia. So there are people that is in the island. Yes, we don't because we are conscious and the ombudsperson office is conscious of that too. So we don't transmit their residence. But yes, while they're in the island, my delegate is the person that attends to them,
Okay,
give
so
them the
you attend
service.
as well people from Venezuela and different places as well on the island.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another time, we make sure that we attend to our population. Also, I'm contracted for Gobernación, and I deal with the area of managing and spreading human rights.
Okay, okay. So when it comes to human rights, speaking about human rights, well, today we are speaking about, as a third chapter, we're talking about education, right?
Mhm.
This is our education part. What can you tell us a little bit about what you know about ethno education, if it's something you're all doing as well?
Yes, we don't work nothing about education, but there is a fact that we have the law 1381 of 2010, and that the ley de lenguas.
13, okay, okay,
Yes, 1381 of 2010, ley de lenguas in Colombia. And that's the law that protect the languages, these native languages. Obviously, as you protect a language, you protect the people, the culture, their custom, their systems, their survival. Because a native people, without the language, without their culture, without their customs, without their roots, they are not nothing. So that's very important for us to know about that. Plus, I were very close to the Christian University in
so
the
this ley
moment.
de lenguas, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
okay, Miss Alicia, this ley
Mm-hmm.
de lenguas that you're talking about, or the language law
Mm-hmm.
1381 2010. I've never heard of this language. This has to do as well with ethno education, right?
Some kind of way it's supposed to be. But as you know, we have many laws, but we don't implement it. It just stay there on the paper. So we need people with courage, people with projects, people with financial incomes, people with, as I said first, with courage and will to do the work to implement this, that it can reach to the people and so it can have muscle and make an effect.
Okay. So what exactly can you tell us about this ley de lenguas? What does it say?
Ley de lenguas. Let me remind a little. Ley de lenguas hace referencia, es la ley de lenguas que se promulgó en Colombia y hace referencia a la condición y la necesidad de proteger esas lenguas nativas para que el pueblo, dice, por ejemplo, en Colombia reconoce y fomenta los derechos lingüísticos de los grupos étnicos, salvaguardando sus lenguas nativas como patrimonio cultural. Establece el 21 de febrero como el Día Nacional de las Lenguas Nativas, garantiza el uso de estas en la educación y la administración de la justicia, promueve su fortalecimiento y medios públicos.
We're speaking
So,
about protecting the language.
sí, according to this law, when our boys or our people is judicializados, submitted to the law, they should, and the system is compelled to treat them in their language.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
how it's supposed to
Precisely.
be.
Precisely. Speaking about identity loss or identity failure, that is one research that I did in 2024 about how identity, the loss of identity when people are incarcerated or people are go to prison. Speaking about the Raizal population in particularly, they are taken to prison not just in San Andres, but they're taken to prison elsewhere when they are, in Colombia, one of the
Unknown.
prisons in Colombia or out of the country in Tampa or where they are, right? They have the right to be spoken, in their language and to receive their culture and their education in their wherever they
And not
are.
only, Mhm. They are compelled to receive, to defend themselves and to know what's going on, what they are accused of, and how can defend themselves. In this moment, we have 12 person strangers, that we say, migrants, in our San Andres jail, and the majority of them don't know which is the state of their case because they don't understand what the liar tell them or told them. So they really don't know what is the state of their case.
And where are they from?
Some from Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras. Well, I don't know Jamaican as yet, but Honduranian, Costa Rican, Nicaraguan.
Well, but they speak Spanish.
Some of them type mosquito, some of them type English
Oh,
because some of
Mestizo as
them from
well.
the Creole, some of them are Creole people, and they don't manage the Spanish.
Okay, they have the right to get a translator.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, this has to do as well with ethno-education. When we're speaking about ethno-education, we're talking about the way how education um, should be placed in our territory. And I want to invite Mr. Willard Premier as well with us. He's with us today. We call him Lati, and he can join us in this
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Welcome, Mr. Willard Premier. Your microphone is on mute.
All right. I think I got it now. All right. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening and welcome.
Hey, thank you, man. Good to see you again.
The same, Lati.
All right. All right.
So tell us a little bit, Lati, about your background in education and especially in ethno-education that you worked before on the island.
Well, what I would say,
Maybe you could come a
you know,
little to your right or to your left because it can, oh, yeah, that right there.
okay, I will have to hold the phone in my hand. So what I will say is that I have been working. Well, I worked on the island for 17 years between the elementary and the high school, or you know, sixth grade up to 11th grade. And then I had my experience, and I think just to highlight, because I know our time is limited, where I found the ethno-education program really making good effect is my years, I think was like 5 years at the Flowers Hill Bilingual School. You know, we had a Mr. Dionisio Brown. I guess you all know who's Mr. Dionisio Brown. I'm not sure if he's still working or he's retired at this point, but he organized a program for the bilingual schools, and we started out with the Flowers Hill and the Brooks Hill School. And in that program, we had our students, they had to take some tests. Then we see what was their level, and then we began from there according to the level. If you are in level one, you will go to this teacher. You're in level two, you're going to this other teacher. So we had like four levels. That was the best organization I see that we had. So we had the Raizal children. Of course, the Raizal children, they were in the higher levels. Okay. So we were able to serve our Raizal children, and we saw great progress during those years when we were implementing this system of teaching by levels. The Spanish students, they were, of course, the majority. We would say nearly 99%, they were in the lower levels. We had some exceptions of some Spanish children who were in the higher levels. And this was not just writing. This included reading, writing, listening, speaking. It
Correct.
was a very well organized program, and I think these experiences is what we have missed. With this program went right down to nothing. There's nothing going on now, nothing absolutely. But we have to implement reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And we have to start, and I agree with, we go with the Spanish and Creole as transition for those students who speaks more Spanish or dominate only the Creole, right? So just as transition, maybe pre-K and first grade, you know, I have a pay, I think I share it with you. I don't know if it was you or your sister Rosabel. And that specify how that could develop. You know, the child come from home, let's say, come first grade, and the child is saying, um, um, Mekino, you know, making up. Okay, we're going to take that child from there. We're going to show that child that in English, we say, make it please, or can you make it for me? Or, you know, another way to say that is not just the Creole, because the child need to know the English. And I'm going to
Correct.
insist on this. They need to know that for their development. I agree that culture is very important. I agree that we must emphasize on the culture and we must protect our culture or identity. I agree with that 100%. But at the same time, we cannot go to the extreme. We have to remember that we have to be ready academically. Our children need to be ready to go out to the world and
Mhm.
face any other people in the world, nation. We should prepare children that go to any nation speaking English and defend themselves perfectly. And we'll close with this. I admire to see like you meet a Jamaican, you meet somebody from Belize, and you talking to them, they can defend themselves perfectly in their Creole and also in the English language, you
Correct.
know. And when they know that, when they can do that, then we are preparing children, we are preparing our children to face the world. But one thing I want to tell you, the Colombian government did a very effective work in get us to the point of thinking that this is not important, you know. And then we drifted away from that, and the schools that were supposed to be maintaining this bilingual program did not get the support, did not, in the first place, they did not send the teachers who were supposed to be in these schools. They send the Spanish speaking teachers to the school. They can't do the job, and always, going against the rules that were set, because we put up a lot of fight with this. And I know Mr. Dionisio, number one, had a lot of challenges with this, coming from the very Secretariat of Education, would not support the bilingual program. And so teachers just give up and things went south. But we have to maintain this. If we really want this to work, we have to stick to it. And I can share with you this curriculum that I developed, and we can, look on how the language is being implemented. The children are going to be exposed to the English from their pre-K, first grade, and I say the English when I mean including the Creole, if that be the case, but they are going to be um, trained to come to the point where they can develop themselves. They can write, they can read, they can speak, they can talk, they can listen and understand perfectly anybody speaking to them with whatever accent they have in the English language. That's where our children must be at. And I will say this last thing, brother. In the past, our parents, my mother, I, would admire when I see her sit down and take a book and just read that English book in a couple of days, finish reading that book. You understand me? They receive that preparation. They receive that education. Today, you ask our young people who are in high school to do the same. They can't do it. They can't. They can't. They can hardly nowadays. We could rely and say, well, okay, this is. I'm speaking in my own, whatever you want to call it, my English. This is my English, and I'm speaking my own language. Yes, but I could translate to any American and tell them what this person was saying. Nowadays, it's not happening. You hear them talk, you ask them, well, how you say that in standard? How you say that in English now? Good, Creole. But how you say that in English? They can't do it. They struggle big time because they have not been exposed. And we must understand that there is a difference between both of them. And if we continue like this, we are going to be setting up our young people for failure. They are failing already, and we will continue to set them up for failure. We cannot disregard the academic part in this system of education. And there's going to be a fight, and we have to win the fight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Willard. And let's recap on something that you just said. So we are touching one important part there of ethno education, which is language. Ethno education is one important part of language is one of the important part of ethno education. So Willard is talking about English as a second language, and then he's talking about the four abilities of learning the language, which is writing, reading, speaking, and listening. Very good. And we
Mhm.
are speaking about the Common European Framework, which are the levels to separate students by A1, A2 basics,
Mhm.
B1, B2 intermediate, and C1, C2 advanced level. That is fantastic. But then something important that we have to speak about is that ethno-education is not only about language. Ethno-education as well is about to keeping the culture, to teaching the
Right,
culture as
right,
well to
right,
children, right? So
right,
in
right.
that section, we want to bring in the knowledge keepers. So the law speak about the knowledge keepers or the sabedores. So in
Mhm.
education talk about these knowledge keepers. We can remember that in our ancient days, we had, well, I can speak about Providence because I'm from Providence and I imagine that you are from San Andres as well. In San Andres and Providence, we have people in the community that used to teach us and they were not even teachers. And I can say it
Right.
about Miss Vilma Taylor from Providence. She was not a professional teacher. And I can say that she has been the very best teacher I have ever had in my entire life. And I always say it, Miss Vilma Taylor. And many of our teachers were just normalistas, or some were not even normalistas. They didn't even go to school for to teach.
Mhm.
And they were very good teachers. Those that had a ruler in their hand and used to hit us in our hand, those were very good teachers, but not just teachers in a classroom, but as well teachers out of the classroom setting that used to teach us Bible. Yeah, so we talk about the spiritual leaders as sabedores or knowledge keepers. We talk about those that used to teach to plait with the coconut leaf and plait the basket and things. We're talking about those that used to teach to fishing. We're talking about those to teach the handcraft or the manualidades. We're talking about all those people in our community, right, that teach naturally. Those are the knowledge keepers. The one that teach how to make the rundown, the one that teach how to cook, the one that teach how different things from our community that we need to keep our people.
Okay.
Those are the knowledge keepers. That is part of ethno education. That is part of what it should be imposed in the traditional system. Today we have a subject called Herencia Raizal. That is now they are teaching Herencia Raizal in the schools, in private and public. They are teaching Herencia Raizal, right? They have that subject. But now the ethno education program is telling us that we must bring in our curriculum the knowledge keepers. We must bring in knowledge keepers or sabedores to teach our children as well and our youth. We learn is saying, but you can't just teach them Creole because they have to learn to read and write and speak and listen English, and that is fine. So we are talking about a trilingual population. We're talking about teaching the Creole, keeping the Creole as a language, Spanish because it's the mainland, and of course English. And then some studies have to be done about that because how a child can grow up being trilingual, listening to his mother tongue home, which is maybe Creole if he's a Raizal, go to the street and talk to his friends in Spanish because today the Raizal children don't want to speak English and Creole. And they go to school and they have this Spanish teacher. So we have some Spanish teachers teaching English in our school. They don't know English and they're teaching English in our schools. We have Spanish teachers teaching English in our schools, and our schools are called bilingual, quote unquote, and they
Mhm.
don't even have some of the subjects in English.
None.
And the children are coming out of school and they are not even B1 or B2 level, which is the exact level that the Ministry of Education is saying. So definitely we are getting to a point that we have to think on a curriculum for our archipelago. A ethno-education curriculum that can be imposed but built within everybody. You know, built with teachers, the same knowledge keepers and everyone need to come in and build something how to teach ethno education or how to have ethno education schools. That's another topic, higher if you're there. How to have ethno education schools, right? Because do we have ethno education schools? We might have bilingual schools in our territory, but we don't
Yeah.
have ethno education schools. What can you say about that, Hira?
Yes, very important. Precisely as what Brother Willard was saying, yeah, the language is important. And what we want to analyze tonight is to see damages or affectation that our children at school have been passing through. Because we have hope that this new law for educators will repair many things and correct many things. One of the things that this law coming with is the enforcement that the teachers them that should be dealing with our kids should be primarily or prioritarily teachers, Raizal teachers that manage the language, that know the culture of the,
Culture.
that can transmit all those things around the culture, history, the environment, the territory, knowledge keepers, as Dr. Sigfrid said. Those are the things then that we don't have today. We receive in all these decades somehow the imposition of teachers from outside, that don't hungry all these things. So we wanted to show the people that what is happening really at the schools, and you too, Willard as well as Alicia, have much experience of what our children have been passing through, you know, and that's the educators try and bring something else new. And what we're trying to say here is that those things new from our culture is highly important, is no less than no other culture. We want to identify the importance of both things, of the culture as well as the academic capacity, as you mentioned, to go there and compete globally. Both of them are equally important. Because if you just rely on, for example, the academic preparation to go globally to compete, you are preparing children without foundation, without values, without principles, without cultural identity. Are people that those floating in the over the world, don't know where they come from or where they're going. They are just preparing them for a economical market.
Mm.
Life is not those money. Life is more than anything else to have an integral person, integral man, an integral woman with principle, with connection, with roots. So we want to give both importance, don't diminish none of the
Right.
component. The cultural strengthening that we they take away from us. That's why we are struggling. We don't stand up firmly because we don't even know who we are.
Yeah.
As the Calypso song say, I had to went back to the past to find out who I am. We
Hmm.
want our children to know who really they are. A child nor an adult cannot
True.
defend or fight for something that they don't know. Today, they are children
Yes.
doing what they behind in backyard. When we were small, we used to go behind the backyard and come out the other extreme of the island. We pass through by the land, we know by the land, we know all the mango tree, their name, we know everybody, we know every local centimeter of the territory. So we create a sense of belongingness. When you question today why the children and don't have the sense of belonging, like we had it. What kind of belonging they and got that we the adult don't give them the same opportunity that we had when we was their age. We have the contact with the things them and call the things them by the name and deal with the things them. If you care a child right now behind your house and you let him go in last, none we for generation we could last we could have traveled right through from north to south, east to west. Those type of things are equally important as to know the Torah, the Eiffel Tower. Okay, because that's we. You build your identity first, and then you insert yourself in the global affair. But
Hmm.
that,
Yes, Willard would like to say something. Hiro, sorry. Go ahead, Willard. Sorry
go
to
ahead.
Just
interrupt.
let me add to what brother is saying, and I'm going back to the project that I have. One subject that we that what I have in mind for that, and it's on the document, is that Creole class. In that Creole class, the student is going to do everything that has to do with their culture, with your identity, and in every think on every aspect of your culture. This is where the children is going to identify himself with who he is, as brother Hiro is saying, and at the same time he is making connection with others. You understand? Because no one is an island. But at the same time, as I said, they're identifying themselves, and this is a class that will happen every day. Every single day they are having that Creole class. And they get their classes, they get whether the young ladies, they'll learn how to take care of the house, going from sewing and knitting and cooking, and the young men as well, planting and sewing and having a
Fishing.
garden, learning all these fishing, all the things that come in. One of the things that we have in that is to invite the as you I don't remember the term you use, but invite the adults in the community to come and
Knowledge
share
keepers. Knowledge keepers.
share their knowledge. That's right. Share their knowledge to the young ones. And so
Mhm.
pass it on. You have somebody to come and
Correct.
teach them how to play the
The
horse
fiddle.
jabon and play the Raizal instruments. I
Correct.
mean, think on everything. But one thing I want to just say, Brother Hyro, and the rest of you, I think that this is what I'm thinking. If we don't have a system organized where the teachers are going to be trained in all these aspects, both the
Correct.
culture and the academic, we have to have a plan set up to train the people. Have to
Mm.
train the people. If they are not trained, and even after they finish training, I don't know if it's going to take a year or two. It has to continue every so often. You rehearse, you practice, you go over, and you train and retrain and retrain and emphasize until we get this into the system. That means training new teachers, new Raizal young people who are finishing high school. Train them, and help them to become the leaders of the present and the future. And I
Because
really think this is where we are supposed
it's
to
not
be.
just being teachers, we learned, and friends. It's not just being teachers, our formal trained teachers, what the law 1278 of 2002 is talking about, but as well knowledge keepers. So
Right,
this
right,
education law saying that you can train both community leaders as knowledge keepers or
right.
formally trained teachers, because this is a new escalafon, Willard. This is not the
Mhm.
normal escalafon docente where they have to go to a concurso, or try to get into the public system. This is a special escalafon docente for ethnoeducators.
Yeah, well,
So the ethnoeducators have the opportunity.
I've said I don't have no idea of what you're talking about at all. I don't have no knowledge of what you're talking about
We're
with the
talking about the
new.
law 1278 of 2002. We have been talking, this is the third chapter of the ethnoeducation law 1278, Hiro, after 2002, correct? So this ethnoeducation law, Willard, Hiro, please give him a little context about it.
Well, I
I had been reading about it.
what I know I heard um, um, Pastor Martinez went over. I think it's the same law the last meeting that I attended. But what I don't know if this is approved, is it effective? It is. You say it's from 2002. Well, I know we had education law, but were anything added to this? Is any change? Because I'm hearing some things that I never heard before. Like for example, the escalafon and the what was the next thing that was mentioned?
The
The
knowledge keepers or the
knowledge keepers, and all that thing. I don't know if that was in the law before, or this is something new that was added. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
law existed long ago. The education law existed from
Yes,
1991, but it was not
right.
implemented for the Raizals. So now that they implemented it for the Raizals with this new decree of late 1278 of 2002, it brings that ethnoeducators, Raizal ethnoeducators can participate in it, but we need to farm as well ethno-education schools, so that in our mainstream education or public education we can have knowledge keepers, which is part of the law, and that our ethno-educators don't need to run through the normal escalafon, but they have some different rights, right, Hiro? You can give a little context
So is
more about
that
it.
new? Is that new?
Go ahead, Hiro.
Yes. What that that law that was applied to all teachers in Colombia, the Indian they demand that law. Okay, that is the law 1278. from 2002. That used to apply to every single teachers over the whole country.
Right.
The Indian then demand it and they
Mhm.
win at the Constitutional Court.
When
That
that
is,
happened? When that happened?
the Indian then winning around maybe what 2016. The
Okay.
blacks and the Raizales demand it also, okay, and they win. The court take out about 3 or 4 sentences. See them here. In 2007, the court declared and said that law that was coming applying the 1278 from 2002 wasn't to be applied to the black people nor the raciales. You see here when it say no es aplicable a las situaciones administrativas relacionadas con la vinculación, administración e información de los docentes y docentes en los establecimientos educativos estatales ubicados en territorios indígenas. These are not the indigenous. And the same way the blacks then win with a demand that it shouldn't be applied to them neither. When it said to the blacks, it include the raizales and the palenqueros. So it's something revolutionary in Colombia where they recognize that that imposition and put black teachers, indigenous teachers to compete with all the rest of teachers and normal teachers wasn't right. So
Correct.
what the Indian then gain and what we gain is that Dr. Secret said is a special statute they are creating. This is the name of the seat here. What they will be coming up with is a special statute for the black people, okay, and the raizales and the palenqueros. A statute, this one, Estatuto Especial de Profesionalización para docentes y directivos docentes educadores al servicio del Estado
I need to
colombiano
read.
and in the development of the autonomy of the black community, raizales and palenqueros people. It is given as well the International Convention 169 and many international rules that they must respect indigenous people, tribal people to have their own system of education. And the one system of education means that they must manage a special escalafon, including that, and management of their
Correct.
teachers. They cannot impose other teachers, other
Mhm.
company. But this is not taking away, also, as I was saying, to seek for the best quality and a competitive level to carry them to a global market, But
Mhm.
the things them that is pertain to the cultural identity cannot be diminished. You see, that's what colonization do. They make
Mhm.
you look by your color, your hair, what you talk, what you eat, what you
What you
wear,
do?
every single thing that you are, they make you look like inferior and at the value nothing. But what value is there? You
Right.
know, so that's the decolonization of the system of education, without sacrificing the quality and the competitive level of education for our children.
Great.
So I would like us to make a pause here. We have a video that we'd like to show. Go ahead, Ryan, with one of the videos that we have.
We want pause the video, we make a local observation, they make a mistake in the additional video. They put Sister Alicia
Okay.
Mitchell name, but it's not she there talking on the video. Okay?
Let me
Okay.
close my
Okay.
camera on my
Yeah.
my.
If you have the video. Let me see. I don't think you have it ready yet. Guy told him was to wait. We have that little mistake.
So while you have the video ready, while Ryan has the video ready, for us, it's important for us to know then that with this new decree of the Estatuto Docente, yeah, of the education, the Raizal teachers can become an ethno educator. But to have an ethno educator, you need to have an ethno education or ethno school. You can't have
Mhm.
ethno educators without having ethno schools, and that is what we have to start thinking of. That's why we're talking about this, because we need to create our own curriculum where in that curriculum we involve the knowledge keepers. So all what Mr. Willard was saying for years, we were talking about, we have had that on our archipelago. We have had, people learning in a natural way how to fish in, how to plant, how to knit, right? You used to go to sewing class, or you used to have this type of class or different things, and all those now the education is telling us you can bring them in the mainstream education. So you can have a special day, like Willard was calling it, um, the Creole class. Okay, we can call it Creole class. Let's say in that Creole class that they have every day, they will receive the language, the Creole language, they will receive tradition, they will receive culture, they will receive different classes, right? But apart from that, they must have the English. Correct. You must have your English class and all your different subjects. But you must have a special class as well, but given by the knowledge keepers. These knowledge keepers, of course, they will get paid as well from the government, and they are being they are teachers as well, but not formalized or trained teachers in a university, but trained by their culture or whatever, and they are part of the curriculum as well.
And what part of the scalafon they can ubicate these people?
Well, that Hyra can answer that, because I remember we spoke about that I don't know if it was 12 or where, I don't know. Hyra, remember
What? Hold the question. What?
what
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 part of the
level access
scalafon?
telephone these knowledge keepers will be on? I don't know.
No, they have a new, totally new levels and so.
Yeah, they changed the levels for special for ethno education.
Yes, but what they recognize, those like how Dr. Siegfried expressed tonight. His best teacher had been that lady that taught her in her young days in Providence, Taylor, forget her name.
Bilma.
Yeah, Miss Vilma Taylor.
Taylor, okay, and she might be not have a loads, and we analyzed that in the previous program. So much wonderful teachers we had in the past that never gone through a university that don't take
Correct.
away their wisdom, their knowledge, and what they
Mhm.
built, and what the new system but generalize that 1298 lab and 2002 is take out all of them, any possibility for them to continue teach, So we're recovering that with the possibility that these knowledge keepers can be inserted and be passed like a next teacher. We will look over that part with a level and so that they classify them in. But one thing, the gainers here is that they can come in. The same thing, Brother Lear Willard expressed, for example, the case with her mother too, and that skill that her mother have to read. She qualifies. She could be teaching in schools.
Exactly, because a good opportunity as well, a good opportunity for our ancestors, for different people, because we have a lot of people there, maybe they are not on pension, but they have the knowledge and they can get an income as well, because they know, they're specialized on building boat, for example, or boat builders. That those boat builders need to continue passing that information to our
Or a
generation.
dessert.
You know what
Or
I'm
a
saying?
dessert. Or a
Yeah,
dessert. Or a
correct.
stew. Or a
The
pudding.
exactly, all the cooks and the special cuisine from our islands, you need to
Mm-hmm.
pass that from and how to knit, for example, all those diaries and things that we have in our house. My mother is who made them. She knit the diaries and put
Yes.
them in her
Yes.
and the house is full with diaries, and it's she who sewed them or knit them herself. And our young people don't know about that. They say, where you bought it? ¿Dónde lo compraste? Compraste. I did it myself, she said. But you need to pass that information to, you need to pass that knowledge to the young people so they can learn to knit and these things.
You know what I want?
Or the cuadros or the frames and the nice picture that you have in your house. Or we don't used to buy them, you used to paint them yourself. Or all the manualidades and all these, or out of coconut, for example. I remember my father
To
used to
make a
take the coconut
hammock.
and or monkey head or different things out of the coconut hawks,
We
or to
want
make a
to
hammock.
highlight here again that is not that is compatible to have that balance in the school. The
Correct.
cultural teaching along with that academic preparation to be competitive in the world. I am system engineer, and I sit here many time. I can be in the rural area out there on the beach while I'm doing a cultural, moment, and while I have a good internet and a computer that has become so common to the deal, I have you know, a phone or a radio. I can be working for the biggest company to the next extreme of the world. And that don't take away my cultural base, my cultural identity. That that those things that keep and perpetuate us as a people. One thing or one with Miss Alicia, she shared one testimony that really touched me, and I want she share it tonight here, where it reflect situation and not a isolated case for sure, where a Raizal kid in the school becomes scared for others to know that they are really Raizal. So they
But
put
the conflict is not the word Raizal. The conflict is to expose themselves that they talk our language,
the
that they
language
talk Creole,
with
that they have our customs.
exactly.
That's the main part of it. That experience I had at a school where a, a child refer, every time I go in a space, I always approach and present myself first. I begin in English or Creole every time in every spaces. So when I have the opportunity to share with children, with kids, I always ask, who that English? Who that Creole? Who can talk like me? Who know what I they say? Make sure if they don't know what is the Creole, they can advance and comprehend. So two kids lift up their hand in a classroom. Two children lift up their hand in a classroom. A classroom that can have 30 children. No one else. So a little Spanish girl turned around and said, that one teacher, ella también es eso. Ella también es eso. The little girl answered and said, no, yo no soy eso. Practically with tears in her eyes. So the next one said, yes, teacher, sí, señor, ella sí es eso, porque el otro día su papá la vino a recoger y él le habló y ella contestó en eso.
Yes.
No, that's the little girl answered. Like me and I landed, no, yo no soy eso, yo no soy eso. She would be 3 years at in the classroom, and she denied her roots, what she is, because she feels totally different in that space.
Bullying, because of bullying.
Uh-huh. So who to know in that classroom, maybe they could have two children more. But after they living like that, well, obviously they keep it to them.
Correct.
I have an experience that maybe nowadays we call it education, but I will refer it like when a child begin to study, they are in the school and they don't identify themselves with the system, they don't identify themselves with the teacher. And I'm not referring exactly about our cooking, our swimming, our building boat, or things like that, or our cultural part, but they're referring about identify themselves and how when you identify yourself and when you are trying to learn initially in your mother tongue, how it can become nice and easy to you. I had a child that not my son, a child that I deal with, that had phobia escolar. That child, you could play with him, puzzle, you could sing, you can do anything with him. But in the moment you take a paper and a pen, that child start to run and reach anywhere if it's necessary and jump through a window, if it's necessary and pass through the door and it went straight through the gate to the street if it's necessary, if it's no one to hold him down. Because he didn't identify himself with the process of learning to read and write in Spanish. That child used to love fish, just fish, pescado, los peces. He loved fish and he always asking me. So I used to buy things that I know that he liked, like books, fairy tales that are in fishes, and coloring book with fish. So he always said, teacher, what's that there? How the fish name? How this one name? How the other one name? Okay, we're going to color this one today. How that name? So after I keep on a time referring to him, reading for him, and explaining him the different fishes, I tell him, Adi, look, teacher, how this one name? I say, look, little boy, I tired to read know how the fish is named to you. You have to learn to read them by yourself. And that's how he opened his mind and he opened his soul to learn to read and write. So that's experience that can show how important what we call no in education because Allah call it like that. But what learn to read or learn in your mother tongue or in your tongue, in your home language can help you a lot and it make the difference. In my experience with children, I had a case. I can keep on talking about the different experiences with children and in this line from here until tomorrow. I knew a girl that repeat sixth grade for 6 years, sexto grado. One time for a second time. While she the second time, next to lose it for a third time, the father share her to me. That child, 11 years, 12 years, she stay with me a whole year. And that child, after that, she come to the best student in her promotion and she studied economy. That means that she had the capacity. She was able. But we usually see those children, know those children, the system, the teachers, and they think that they have a learning disorder or what we usually call learning disability. And after that child begins 5, 6 years, and we call them or we identify them as they have learning disability, no one attend to them. No one look back on them. No one try with them. So I sure that this ethnoeducation, if we shield it, because we have to shield the system, I never hear no one talk about it yet, and in every space I insist. We in our career, we will say blend it. In Spanish, blindarlo. We can't permit that it happen the same that is happening in our bilingual schools. That we say bilingual, but if they bring someone from the continent or someone come to the continent and they want to get in second grade, then put them in and everybody keep back because they have to begin with the vowel with this child. And when
Correct.
he's in third, one new child come in, so instead that we keeping now to read sentences, we have to go back on the vowel them because we have to violate, we are violating his rights. As I said, I work with an entity, but I am clear of our customs. I am clear of our rights as ethnic people. And I promote and I fight it and I insist and I keep my position. I know that is necessary for us. So we keep in with that all in 10th grade. We keep on receiving new people in the different schools, and the system say that you have to accept them because we're violating their rights. But we have to find something that we can structure with
No,
structure formally that we can share it and we can keep on ahead. That's the only way we will success. Because we
ethno
don't talk Spanish, we don't talk English, we don't talk Creole. We can't talk nothing, we can't do nothing.
ethno education. So
Ethno education.
I love your experiences as a psychopedagogue. I would like you to know that I am an educational psychologist,
Okay.
and I've worked with these type of students with learning disabilities
Mm-hmm.
as well for many years before doing my PhD. Anyways, it's important, Alisa, to know that ethnoeducation is one of the biggest solution that we have. Ethnoeducation is a biggest solution. Why? Because ethnoeducation will fix that problem of following the mainstream educational curriculum from the mainland government. So the mainland is telling us this is the curriculum, teach them. But there is no research showing that that education is not working. So number
Okay.
one, we need to have a research in our archipelago, Mr. Javier Rodriguez. We need to have a research in our archipelago that show, this research needs to show that the education is not helping our kids. And that way we involve teachers and students and we make a big research showing that the education is not valid. And then that ethnoeducation is one of the biggest solutions. Now, something important is that ethnoeducation is not going to fix these learning disabilities. However,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help with the different situation that we're having. For example,
Okay.
the
Mm-hmm.
dyslexic kids. We have a big problem with dyslexic kids in our community. Big problem with the dyslexia, and it's not being diagnosed. And if it is being diagnosed, it is not being treated. We
But
have
many
kids with
times,
dyslexia we have a
Many
lot of
times it's
people.
functional, it's not organic. But it
Correct.
will come from the same situation what I just present. So the
Exactly.
child had the child express some difficultness in achieve the process and the living as
Leaving
that. Yes.
exactly. That's what
So
I'm
the
saying. It's
child
not being
keep
addressed.
on and the child going growing, but no one to help him. I always do this. So I always explain the parent, you have to find something else for this child to help him come up. Because all the rest are growing, they're advancing, and your child going to stay here. So you have to find something extra for him while the others going, you can push him a little. Because this dyslexia, this calculia, this everything going to be growing and accompany that child. What happened? It
For
have bring desire in his personality, in
exactly.
relative, in the relation, it
Hmm.
affect in everything. So really, really this education not only the part of develop things that can identify us, and it's very, very important for you to identify yourself and know your roots, because if not, nothing going to be form of you. But yes, we have to help the children that they can learn some part. The principal I heard Jairo talk about that this not too long. That in the first ages it's important for them to achieve what they can in their language that it can give to them confidence, and they can keep on developing themselves.
Identity.
Learning
Identity.
process,
in in
identity.
in, in my dissertation for my PhD that I did in
Mm-hmm,
2024, I spoke how the ex-offenders or ex-prisoners or ex-offenders that came up. Well, ex-offenders is the name that they call them now, not ex-convict but ex-offenders. So
mm-hmm,
men and women that were in prison in different places of the world, not just San Andres, when they came out of prison, they one of their expression, because I did a qualitative study with different interviews that I conducted, and I showed that in these interviews, these men and women, they spoke about how they were from childhood, how their identity has start being lost, and then precisely identity is important part, and then they lost track, and many of them got to prison, and I taught them in prison. In prison, you see them with dyslexia, with dyscalculia, and with many more learning disabilities and cognitive impair, and a lot of different situations they are having in prison. And they pass from mainstream education to fall out of school to youth detention center, right?
mm-hmm,
Or centro de rehabilitación
mm-hmm.
or youth detention center, and end up in prison. And it started where? In school. Well, first
In
at home, of
school.
course. But it started in school that the teachers didn't notice these kids. And if they had a psychologist noticing these kids that were there in silence or hyperactive, the famous ADHD, attention deficit
Mm-hmm,
hyperactivity
mm-hmm.
disorder kids, and they're having these big diagnoses of these kids, and they're saying they have this and they have that, but what's next? Okay, the kid is dyslexic, but what are you doing about it? The kid has this calculia, but what are you doing about it? And they are their diagnosis in our mainstream education, and nothing is happening. That's why ethno education is one of this biggest solution. Ethno education is one of the biggest solution because we can rule our own territory with our own education, and we can say no more Colombian education. We have our own curriculum, and it is sponsored or having support by ethno education law, because
What
the
you believe?
Colombian government is giving us space to have our own curriculum. We have to start building it.
Why you believe a psychologist would look at this child that it looked like he had learning disability if she herself consider that he have it? Because she don't, many of them don't talk like us. They don't live the experience that we live. So maybe when they are talking to this child, and she's the teacher talking to this child, and the child don't react, or they send the child at her office, and the child don't react, the child don't answer, the child don't socialize, this child don't sing at the other. Where she herself seeing it like a child with a special condition, and not like the condition is not for the child.
Correct.
As how we say nowadays, la discapacidad, no, no es que el niño sea un discapacitado, es que el entorno no está para él, es
Correct.
el que está
Well,
discapacitado.
that is another topic to discuss, in the sense that our teachers are not trained neither to deal with these type of situations. So because our teachers are they haven't, and they imposing to put them now in the classroom, and they say you
Inclusión.
have to receive them the famous inclusion law, but they don't train the teachers to receive these inclusion skills. So they have them in the classroom, and the teachers really don't know what to do. They have their hand tied.
Plus, they don't provide the schools, and they don't provide the school with the professional that can help those teachers and those children.
Exactly. So Ryan is telling us we have the video. We're almost getting to our end. So let's watch the video and then we come back to the topic. Go ahead, Ryan.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Well, right now I am not working as a school teacher, but in my time and the experience I have, well, the majority of students I deal with through these years why I've been working is with Raizal more and the Continental. And for me, that is like living my own culture, living with what I like to do, have relation with the people them where I feel like understand me and I understand them, because really all the time when you work with your own people and your own children, them you can understand with them better. Even, well, you know, as usual all around, nothing going to be perfect. You have children to have difficulty to socialize with or you get that connection with, but still yet deal with them as my own Raizal people have been plenty more easier. We can understand one another. I can share my idea with them and them work more hand to hand with me more cooperatively, because, well, we have something in common, and that is where I make much of it. In spite of, well, you have children with different capacities. Some have more interest, some show more abilities, but everybody, as Raizal, where we work with or where I work with being a teacher in the school, them try to get inside of what I they work and then try to do the things them, some more and some, but still yet them can understand and then can work it, because them come from that background and they know really what we live, because it's hard for you to say, well, non-children left with that teaching. They have something from what was the ancestral. Them know they don't know everything, because really right now people know they teach them the real things them, and they know they remind them plenty things. But when we as teacher have the opportunity, if we can do it, we used to have a class, or still have it, by the school name Herencia Raizal. Well, in English it's supposed to be Islanders Heritage, but that was a very, very enticing, nice, wonderful class, pretty, where the children them had the opportunity to learn a little more profound after the culture and the roots of islanders, even the geographical part. Them did learn some little things where they never know, because even myself they never know plenty of these things, but when I get contact with the subject, I get to get more learning, and I clean with people, and I get books and things what I could read and get some more, and I enjoy that, and the children them enjoy it too. We really, really enjoy it, and we really rescue back some little things. I think you have people who can give testimony about that in the time when we used to work around with Miss Pepita from Batam House and Mr. Palio, who is people really active in the cultural part and help with a lot and know a lot of things where they can share with us and help the children them to get more in love, because that is what we need them to get more in love and get motivated with what we want them to get motivated. We know what we Islanders and Raizal children them anymore get motivated with the gun, get motivated with the lunch them outside. They too, yes, motivate with the lunch, but go and fishing as how our ancestors used to do, and remember how to can a fish, or how to skin a turbot, or how to scrape a snapper, or how to do these things, So exactly. It's like, yes, We can, but there's a positive part and a negative part. We want to continue enforce onto the positive and cultivate what is Raizal culture and live it up, because we is a great group of people who merit to have a live culture, not a dead culture. And we know that, so we have to keep it alive. It's not the same thing as I born and raise and grow, speaking one way, hearing one way, understanding one way. To get that information so clear. And yes, our children, I admit that, because I had my own children them home, and sometimes with a lot of difficulty, they consult and I have to help them, because they really not get the real understanding of the things, because it's not a lot of sometimes a lack of capacity, it's just a lack of a little obstacle is there when them language where not permit them to understand completely, because sometimes I was as a Spanish teacher in the area language being at the Colegio Junín. Sometimes the children I see, they had a great capacity, and I know there was children where probably people believe no, that one no good, you know, win, you know, this, you know, that. But I know in the bottom say is a student we can give a lot, but they have that difficulty or that blockade from understanding them the way how a Spanish teacher explain it. It's not a way how a Spanish teacher explain on the islanders children will understand it. Is a different way. Sometimes I have us to bring right back down to the level of them, like kind of buck it up and bring it to my Creole as them could understand it, because it's a real difficulty, you see. Sometimes when the children get the class, we can give them a lot of big words in Spanish, but them words is giant word for them, because them understand in Creole. One thing is you speak Spanish to somebody and they understand in another language or in something else. So what sometimes me or other teacher of us to us explain them it over and make it come down to the level in our own language that they could interpret it, because when them hear the Spanish they have to turn it over to Creole and then they understand it, then chew it, they assimilate it, and then they swallow it. You understand? Because it's not the same. A big man can hold in a little shell. Like how we would say, if it's a big conch, you have to go in a big shell, and if it's a small conch, a small shell. We can expect a child when who raised in our atmosphere going to come and adapt themselves so easy to something. So always, all our children them have like that little difficulty there, but some superate it and some no superate completely, but I thank God say the majority of our children them we can see them learn to handle themselves and they learn to interpret. It maybe not be easy and it not happen from one day to the other, but with the time then going they learn a little bit more, and you have children who really can explain themselves and understand the things, and by the way then they need a little push or a little help from me or any other teacher to help them overcome that. But thank God say they can get through with it, like how I do. Me myself, when I went to Cartagena and studied, I finished my bachelor Cartagena at the Liceo de la Costa school, and when I gone, for me was one of the hardest things, because we wasn't accustomed to so much Spanish, and the majority of my companions them used to laugh at me because I couldn't pronounce the R. I used to say pero, I never used to say perro, but they never understand why. But that for them was a reason for mock, because they don't know why I speak so. But look, it have been difficult for them to come and adapt to my language, but it wasn't so hard for me to go over there adapt to their own, because I gone and I finished my bachelor, I catch on to a lot of things, I professionalize myself, I come home and I could teach for them language, but tell them teach me. So it is good, you know, when we can use what we have and we feel proud of it and we big up it. And I don't have to shame if I can't pronounce a double R, because I speak Creole. My language is not Spanish and it's not French and it's not Italian. I speak Creole and I speak my own language. So children, parents, teacher, everybody have to start assimilate, say we is a different people, we speak different, but not because we speak different, our language is least or we are least.
Excellent video. Excellent video. Excellent video. Luciana, if you are seeing this, congratulations. Congratulations. And big up yourself. Big up yourself and continue the good job. Very, very good teacher. Continue the good job that you are doing, Luciana. Yes, so I think we have arrived to the end of our program, Hyro. And you can give the conclusion, please.
May we give the chance, we have a couple of minutes for each one of the guests, Alicia and
Okay.
Willard, to give a word of encouragement, for people, students, parents, teachers. Please, Miss Alicia, those who are in the program, I will give you a chance. We have a short word to leave a word of encouragement to our children, parents, teachers, and community in general. You're hearing us? No, you're not
She's
hearing.
not she's not hearing us. And Willard is muted. I don't know if Willard is hearing us as well.
I'm
Well,
hearing now.
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We,
I'm back.
Go
okay.
ahead, please, Alicia.
We ask
No,
you
I
to
didn't
give a
hear anything. I don't know
word of encouragement to
what
close
was
the.
taking place.
You said, Dr. Silver, might be not hearing me.
Okay, we'd like you to give us a word of encouragement. Like a
Okay,
word
of
of
course.
encouragement if you want to give encouragement to teachers, to parents, to students. Go ahead, please.
I would like to invite teachers and parents to look out the way to put their children at the schools that can help them to identify themselves. We have several bilingual schools. Although they are not quite bilingual, they make a big difference in our children. I'd like to encourage our children then to I like how we can call that to to realize, recognize, and accept our differences, our language, our customs, our way of being as something special and unique that can carry them through life and make them be a better person than maybe some of us in the community. So that would be my word for today. And all who have the possibility to support this ethno education, I really, really encourage them. Congratulations. And I hope it come true. And I hope a lot of teachers and our home people will support it because we have a bad custom to throw a rock at anything. So let's hope that we really support it and encourage each other.
Excellent. Willard, your turn. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would just say to finish, let us press together. Unity in diversity is very important. And we all may have different point of views or whatever we may want to call it, but we must come together in our differences and stick together. This going to take more than time. This take commitment and a love for people. Let us make this happen. And since the opportunity
Mhm.
here for us, the opportunity is given for us. Let us don't lay back and just say, there is no hope. Nothing can happen. Nothing will happen. This won't be the same. No, and be consistent. Come together. Be what do you say? Positive, committed, and persist. And I know the Lord is going to, step in and He's going to help us because our children are waiting for us. They are the ones waiting. They are the ones who are suffering. I can tell you it's not going to but we can miss it. Thank you all for inviting me. me to this important meeting. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Willard, and thank you very much, Alicia.
Also,
Veronica,
many thanks to invite us to this space.
You're welcome. Next week again, we'll be back here in a fourth chapter around the same topic. Continue to profound. And every Wednesday night, this is education is you for the Raizal people. Very important is education for us. And that's why we give it this much importance. We have a special program for education. This is revolution. This is change and transform our reality. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
good night, everyone. Raizal voice now the ocean breeze. Island youth them rising with the key. Roots and horizons calling we. Education set the people free. Raizal youth, come and learn in our delight. Open up your mind, let your future shine bright. Raizal books from the sea to the sun. Roots and horizons, every daughter, every son. We want the people come reason with we, reason with we, reason with we. Lift up this knowledge as you reason with we in a this irie. Classroom under palm tree, but the lesson so strong. History of the islands, how we fight and stay long. Raizal stories, Raizal tongue, Raizal song. Teach the children how them spirits stay strong. Whoa, radio, radio, radio. Raizal youth, come and grow, stand tall. Voice of the nation, echo through the hall. Raizal books, every mind get a shine. Roots and horizons, education design. We want the people come study with we, study with we, study with we. Lift up this knowledge as you come test we in a this irie.